before you sold all that stuff that we just described in 166, $600 million of Timberwolf securities is what you sold. Before you sold them, this is what your sales team were telling to each other. Got it? 105?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Look what your sales team was saying about Timberwolf. Boy, that Timberwolf was one shitty deal.
Yes, it was. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Savvy Sales Lady Live. I'm your host, Christine Harrington, and we're going to talk about how not to make bad deals. And if you end up in a price war, you'll regret it. So let's go through what we're going to be talking about tonight. Okay? What happens when you lead with price? Two stories that I'm going to give you about this, and what is your price war solution? So let's start with what happens when you lead with price. So many times in selling, if you lead with bragging about having the best price in the industry, or I'll guarantee you that we'll give you the best price, you'll be setting yourself up for a price war. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to tell you two stories that actually happened, one with a client of mine and a price war I got into. So one of my clients showed up at the prospect's office to close the deal. They had already arranged that day, at that time, they were going to close the deal and move forward. As she walked into his office, she noticed another man sitting there. And she didn't think much of it at first, because she thought, well, maybe it was a partner, or maybe it was a leader from another department that was sitting in on this, or maybe had some questions. Oh no, that wasn't the case. The prospect blindsided my client by inviting his current vendor in at that meeting. That's exactly what he did. He blindsided her. And before they got started, my client said, did you invite your vendor in order to pressure him into reducing his price, or did you invite him in so I'll reduce my price? Either way, this is not how I do business. And she left. Now, she called me from her car shaking. First of all, she wasn't sure if she did the right thing, and she was so angry that this prospect put her in that position. I don't blame her. I would have been angry too and shaking too as well. So I reassured her that I thought she was doing the right thing. Well, then a few days later, the prospect called her back and said that he has decided to go with her. And she refused. She told him that she appreciated the call, but she was now backing out of the deal. And he pursued her for 2 weeks, and she refused to do business with him. I give her a lot of credit for doing that, because as I told her, if he's going to play games with you before the ink is dry, he'll be playing games with you all through that client process. Better to walk away now than having to deal with someone that's a game player. I hope that prospect learned a lesson, but I doubt it. But that would have been a bad deal for her if she went ahead and played that price war game. Now, let me tell you about my story, because I walked out of a meeting as well. And it was all about, this was when I was in group benefits. They always wanted us to believe that price was everything, that you had to outprice the competition. And I just never bought into that. I just never did. You know, if it only matters about price, then why have me, right? Why have me go out and spend time with brokers and spend time with benefit managers if it only matters on price? They can have a computer do it for them. So I never really bought into this whole thing of it's bottom line, it's the price. So I refused to play that game too. And it was not uncommon in the benefit group benefits market that you were being played against their current vendor. That happened a lot. So as I have said in another video, I had to make a lot of changes to prevent that price war going on. And I know you've all heard this. If they buy on price, they'll leave on price. And that is absolutely true. But if you as a sales rep lead with price, you have opened up that door and you're setting yourself up for a price war. So you should not mention price until you're ready to deliver the proposal and quote. And I'm going to talk about this again because I think it's really important. I've talked about it before on other videos, but let me get to my story. So I was in the process of reviewing a group for renewal, and I knew this was going to be a tough renewal. Mainly because the broker that was involved had planted that seed in my mind. And that's another warning. And so I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to sell this renewal? Because it did go up and there was good reasons why it went up. And at the same time, I also knew that it was going to be very hard for the competition to give a better price. Now, they might have been able to shave off 1%, 2%, wasn't enough to make a difference to disrupt the entire group to go to another vendor. So I knew I kind of had that advantage, but the broker purposely planted that seed in my mind that this was going to be a tough one to save. And, I learned that lesson not to buy into that, but I did. So I'm thinking as I'm driving to this meeting to review the renewal, how am I going to sell this? How am I going to sell this renewal? So I get there, I get escorted into the boardroom, sit down, and I ask the broker, okay, what's the number one concern you have with this group? Oh, the price. Okay. Have you quoted it? Have you sent it out to get quotes already? Oh, no. No, we were waiting for your renewal. Oh, you're waiting for my renewal before you quote it. Okay. So you're waiting for my price so you can bargain my price with these other vendors. Is that what I'm hearing? Of course, that's what I was hearing. So I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. You get your quotes and then I'll come back. Oh, no, 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 no. We want you to deliver the renewal now. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. You get your quotes gathered, then we'll come back and do a meeting. Well, I folded up my briefcase and walked out of the meeting. Not going to play that game, which is why I go into, even to this day, I go into a meeting with the proposal or quote in hand. If I'm meeting them over video conferencing, then I give them it right there in the chat, the proposal, the digital proposal, the PDF. I don't deliver it ahead of time because I learned that lesson in group benefit. They will take your price and shop it. That's what they'll do. Getting back to that renewal, guess what happened? They went ahead and renewed without even seeing the renewal price, because when they took it out to market, they realized that it was going to be a lot higher than what I was giving them as a renewal. But they also learned they can't play that game with me. And that's really what you have to teach your prospects. Not all prospects are like that. Oh, good grief. Not all prospects are like that. I've had wonderful prospects that I could work with, but there are those out there that are going to play those games. And frankly, it is a game to them. There are some people who think that no matter where they go, what they buy, they deserve a discount. Really? Way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I dated a man who, no matter where we were at, whether it was a restaurant, whether it was shopping for clothes, whatever, he would always try to squeeze a discount out of someone. You know, the food wasn't cold, he wants a discount, or the food was cold, he wanted a discount. Every time we went somewhere. And it got to the point where I could not date this man any longer because, you know, he didn't need to be cheap. He had the money not to be cheap, but he felt like every single place that he spent money, he deserved a discount. And it just got embarrassing after a while. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, you can't do this at this store. I frequent this store all the time. People know me here. You can't be doing this. I'm not like that. You know, even in coaching, if I hire another coach to help me in a specific area, I ask them what their price is. Okay, that's what I pay. I don't go down this road of, I don't know, you know, not sure. I don't do that. I don't appreciate it when people do it to me, and I will not do it with other people. You don't need to be cheap. And if you're one of those sales reps that feels like you have to give a discount in order to win the sale, you're a weak salesperson. There are bad deals that are being made all the time. All the time. And if you're being pressured to make a bad deal or to cut a price or to offer a discount, then you're making a bad deal, and that's the only tool you have. If discounts are the only tool you have, you need a sales coach. You need a sales manager that will tell you the truth. And if your sales manager is pressuring you to make sales, you need for them to teach you how to make a sale without a discount. Because if you do the discount in the beginning, every time that product is up for a review or up for a renewal, they're going to expect that discount. They're going to expect it. All right. So, what is the price war solutions? I've given you the two stories. What's the price war solution? Depending on your market and the product that you sell, I have said this over and over again. Don't lead with price. Never email a proposal or quote. As I said earlier, always deliver it in person or in the video conference. And if they say to you, well, I'll need it beforehand, and you say, well, my process is I do it when we meet. Well, I understand, but I need it beforehand. You don't give it to them beforehand. If you have to walk away from the deal, you walk away from the deal. Part of developing that business relationship is setting boundaries. And they need to know that you are serious about your boundaries. So, you tell them why you don't deliver your proposals ahead of time and that you'll do it when you meet. You close the deal when you're on that face-to-face call or that Zoom call. That's when you close the deal after delivering the proposal face-to-face. So, the other thing I want to strongly recommend is, in order to solve the price war solution, is give them options. Option A may be your highest price. Option B is your middle price. Option C is your lowest price. You can't get any lower than that. Now, all of these prices will have benefits and features. So, price A, the highest price, will have everything, all the bells and whistles, everything. Price B will have less bells and whistles, and then the lowest price, price C, will have the fewest bells and whistles, the fewest benefit and features. It takes creativity to be able to pull this off, but you can do it. All the statistics show that people want choices, and they want at least 3 choices. So if they can't afford A, they certainly can afford B or C. Do you see what I mean? So that way, if they're walking away from your price, it's rare that they're going to, well, I shouldn't say rare. Who knows? You will have a more likely chance of closing if you give them 3 choices instead of 1 choice. Now, I had to get creative in the group benefits to be able to pull this off, because generally speaking, in group benefits, there was always 1 choice and 1 choice only. So I had to give 3 different proposals with 3 different levels of benefits and features. And I did that. And that's why I closed so many deals. Also, I do that in my coaching practice too. I always give people options. So, think about these things. Figure out when you are blindsided by a prospect and the vendor is sitting right there waiting on you. Do you really want to close that deal with that prospect who did that to you? I would say chances are no. You would not want that person as a client. I wouldn't. When my client told me about this deal, I just couldn't believe it. I'd never experienced that in my life and my, you know, f- 45 years of selling. I have never experienced that, but I felt like she handled it appropriately. I really did. If you ever have any questions that you would like to put forward, whether it's in the live or you want to email me, do I have my email up here? I do not. I need to put that in there. It's really easy. It's just Christine at ChristineHarrington.com. That's what it is. I'll have it up for the next live. And we're doing our next live tomorrow night. I usually do them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I had to rearrange this week for a pressing matter. So that's why we're on tonight and why I wasn't on Tuesday. But I will be back on tomorrow. So look out for the notices on that, the post on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And we've got a lot of good things to talk about that's coming up in the future. In May, we have some guests coming on board. I've been invited as well to be a guest on other podcasts. So there's a lot going on. So think about this. What happens when you lead with price? Think about the two stories I gave you and how to solve the price war solutions by offering your clients or your prospects choices. Offer them choices and always deliver the proposals and quote when you meet with them one on one or in video conferencing. Do not mail it ahead of time. Don't even mail it an hour before the meeting. You deliver it at the time you meet. Okay? So, everyone, stay savvy and remember sales is a journey, not a quick trip around the block. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Bye bye.